Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Legend of Kelamentura recap series. This time, we're doing a recap of session 16. Welcome to the land of the ice and snow, where the party arrive in Iceborne, finally. Last session, they had left Mentura, they'd met a new party member, and left Mentura, traveled a bit north for a bit, and then got into a bit of a fight with some giants. Ended up, basically, giants surrendered, they had some peaceful negotiations, and the giants are accompanying the party at the moment. And started off the session, the party were kind of, woke up, okay, we're going to arrive in Iceborne today. Giant stayed behind, Low Key stayed behind, and Titus stayed behind. Titus stayed behind because Titus's player couldn't make the session. Well, he joined us the last like 15, 20 minutes, but he couldn't make the session, he had to work. And then Low Key was, running late, so that kind of worked out well. It was like Low and Titus were staying behind. The rest of the party then meandered on forward, left the forest, and came up to Iceborne. Which in my head, Iceborne is kind of like, for creators out there, it's kind of like Whitestone ish. That's the vibe. Well, that's in my head. That's where I consider it to be. Uh, Northern Kingdom type thing. At least that's in my head. I'm not saying Iceborne is Whitestone, but in my head, that's what it is. But I came down to like travel down into Iceborne through like loads and loads of farmland. They got this new farmland down into the town, and came up to the gatehouse, and it was there's some traffic on the road, a couple of horses, carts, people leaving and coming and going. And when entering the town, there's a toll to be paid, and there's a bit of a queue and whatever else to come in, and the party says, "Oh, there's a toll to come up ahead. There's a case of the two wagons ahead of you go forward." And Bjorn just kind of, one of the guards looked at him and said, "Oh, sorry, sir, there's a toll to pay." And Bjorn just tried to go on past. I was like, no, there's a toll. What are you doing? You can't just march in. There's a toll to be paid. Which prompted the captain of the guard to come over and have a conversation. Like, Bjorn goes, "Do you have any documentation? I don't want to be. I'm not here to be shaken down by some two-bit thug." The captain was like, "No, it's perfectly legitimate. Showed them a writ." Um, and while that was going on, Ariadne, our monk, I was on the back of her horse, and then says, "Can I climb the wall?" And I was like, "Okay, go for it." And she's like, monk on armor movement, just can run up vertical surfaces and type thing. So she did that, ran up the 30-foot, 30-odd foot the 30-odd foot town walls, up into the gang, up into the walkway up top, and was immediately just surrounded by like 6 guards with spears going, "Who the fuck are you and what are you doing up here?" Was arrested, brought back down. Bjorn then had a word with the captain of the guard and the guards that were there, and he was like, "Fuck, she's with us. Don't worry, we'll keep hold of her. We'll look after her." Captain of the guard looked at them all and was like, "You're on my shit list now. Don't do anything stupid." That was fun. Went into town, went into the one of the taverns. It was the Last Hearth. Small, well, newly built tavern, 4.5 stories tall, loads of rooms. It's like, because Iceborne is in the process of being rebuilt. Because the history of Iceborne is that 5 years ago, up until 5 or 6 years ago, Iceborne was ruled by kings. It used to be a much larger northern kingdom, but kind of just shrunk over time. The territory was like lost or ceded to the council, or just kind of gave up on it. Uh, and Iceborne just kind of is there. It's like a castle, a town, and some land that is now Iceborne. Like I said, it's kind of like Whitestone. That's the type of thing about it. It's like an area. So Iceborne is in the middle of being rebuilt because the last king, was incompetent at best, and tyrannical at worst. It's a right nasty piece of work, King Bron Charleston. The party are learning about that. There'll be more history in the next session about what actually happened in Iceborne. I have an entire quest line on that. So hoping the party get into that at some point. But yeah, party's there. So Iceborne is being rebuilt. There's foreign trade coming over. There's other people. There's people from the Republic of Amberino. There's people from Pangaea, the Salazar dynasty. to coming in to set up trade and deal with and work with Iceborne, and also launch expeditions from Iceborne into the Great Wastes, like the Arctic, if you will. Because over 15 years ago, there was a Titan attack in Mentura. There's a Titan came down from the wastes and was felled in the Ice Pick Mountains. That Titan was in the north. When that Titan was up there, making its way around the mountains, whatever else, and roaming around, it uncovered some interesting artifacts. Again, kind of like Aor. That's where the inspiration came from. Maybe not quite identically popular, but there's bits and pieces scattered around the place. So there's some trade to be had there. So that's where people are kind of doing an Iceborne. So Iceborne's being rebuilt. Party came in, got their horses stable, whatever else. Met a couple of tavern staff, Tara and Dara, elven twins, and then met the owner of the tavern, a man by the name of Michael Smith, or Mickey Smith, if you will. Came in, and Ariadne feeling kind of bad for, the whole incident at the gate and Bjorn having to basically pay the captain of the guard to be like, yeah, really sorry, here's like a bounty, like a bribe, but not really. We're very sorry, here's some gold. To make up for that, Ariadne then went and bought a round of drinks and asked for, can I have the spiciest firewater, please? And Mike was like, okay, you want the spicy stuff? There's the spicy stuff. Which effectively gave them potsheen or moonshine. So yeah, that was fun. And then got in, had that, and a couple of drinks, and Achilles is up here. He's obviously with the scallybags and the party, but he's also up here looking for a blade that belonged to the monastery, the orphanage where he's from. And so he's up here looking for that. He's heard rumor of it up here. Well, he had a lead. He had received word that it was from here, and it was last seen here from Orsic Steelbrow, back in Steelborough, back before the Odersil fight. So he's up here and he's asking about to see any rumor, any gossip, anything like that. Of course, you're in a town. You ask the barkeep, "Hey, barkeep, any rumors?" Because all rumors come through the bar. As every good dungeon master knows, all rumors come through the bar. Your tavern keeps. So spoke to that, and Michael was like, "I actually overheard a couple of guards. I did overhear a couple of guards talking about that thing. So maybe go chat with some of the guards." So Achilles went off and did that. Went off, spoke to some guards who told them that, oh yeah, it was like spoke with some guards. Says, oh yeah, no, that was Tony. Brought him to the barracks. Where's Tony? Chatted with Tony, one of the town guards. Tony heard from his brother Anthony, he's in the legions. So Tony is a town guard, and Anthony is a full-fledged soldier. And Anthony lords it over his brother, but told them that they were on a patrol. They were on a patrol up in the ice picks, some Glacier Valley, and they came across this mountain wild man, just carving up a goat. Like, he'd obviously trapped and killed the goat and was carving it up, to eat or whatever. So they saw him, and he was armed with like this very mundane dagger, like very simple blade and like a wood handle with some leather wrapped around it. Says, okay, so that's that. And then once he saw the soldiers, whipped around, the dagger changed into a great sword. He attacked the guards. So he attacked the soldiers, and then a bunch of Yeti showed up. And the soldiers went, nope, and left. So Achilles has that lead, and he's very, very excited to hear about it. So that was that. They also went and spoke to Lord Desmond Thrain, who is the steward of Iceborne. The Iceborne is kind of part of the council, kind of not. The council has sent this noble Lord Thrain to oversee the rebuilding and kind of manage it. So Thrain's, it's kind of like Denethor being the steward of Gondor. That's in my head. That's the kind of thing he is. So Thrain is like the party's contact. Like, this is who you speak. Here's your quest giver, if you will. So showed up, spoke with him. there's a couple of bits. He says, okay, I've actually got some work. There's a couple of bits have come up that you guys might be, that you guys can go and do. It's like, yeah, we've got some trouble with some logging camps. There was a logging camp that we used to, well, as you can see, the town's being rebuilt, so we need lumber to rebuild. We also need fuel for the fires. And our logging camp, the one that we use at the moment, has gone quiet. We sent our patrol out a few days ago, or about a week ago. They never came back. We think it could be giants or yetis. We don't think it's wolves, because wolves wouldn't stop the logging camp. So it's giants or yetis. Can you go take a look, please? So that's question number one. Question number two, our fishermen are having some problems at the moment. We're trying to be finding new fishing grounds, moving around. And the waters and up this far north, it's very far north, there's a lot of icebergs. The seas aren't the best. If you storms roll in, you lose a few fishing vessels, you go, well, we lose a few fishing vessels, occupational hazard. But more and more vessels were going missing. This is becoming a problem. What the hell is going on? And eventually a crew returned, telling stories of sea monsters, that they'd been attacked. The party were like, okay, that's something else we can look into. Although Bjorn in his full plate armor was like, I'm not keen to do that. Can we maybe not? So I'm not sure if they're actually going to pick up on that quest, but it's there. And then Bjorn brought up the fact that the party on the road had been attacked by giants, and had got the giant, and we're now kind of working with the giants. And Bjorn suggested that, well, maybe we can bring the giants into town. They had a keep that was destroyed by dragons. Or sorry, a dragon. The keep was destroyed by a dragon. They're currently homeless, a little bit desperate, hungry. Pretty sure you could speak with them, offer them food, shelter, provisions, whatever else, and they'll work for you. They'll defend the town. We can do trade things, and Thrain was very open to this. I was like, oh, that sounds like a really good idea. Actually, we'll go with, yeah, that sounds really good. And was asking about, we have other party members yet to come. Oh, well, who's your other party member? Oh, well, our party member is Titus. Bjorn and Thrain was like, Titus the turtle. Yeah, the Titus the turtle who fought Beshra back in Mentura. So the party are realizing that they've actually become a little bit famous. So yeah, for those of you who don't know, the previous recap video, the party were in Mentura, the capital city. They were there for like a religious festival, which is in my calendar is called Artur's Day of Chaos, like party games, whatever else. And the Council of Mentura are friends with an enclave or conclave of metallic dragons. One of these metallic dragons, an ancient gold called Bishra, was in the city, and he flew down in his dragon form, changed into his human form, and was just enjoying the party. Titus, seeing this, there's a gold dragon, I want to fight him, went up, challenged him to single combat, had a bit of a fight. Obviously, ancient dragon against one level 10 NPC, might have been level 11 by that point. No, he's level 10 at the time. Yeah, there's only one way that ends. But in the fight, Titus did actually give a good account of himself. I can't remember how much damage was actually done, but there was, I think, like 100 and something points of damage, which it's not insignificant. It's nothing to a golden ancient dragon, but it's like, oh, okay, you've got some skill. And at one point, I think attempted like a shove or a grapple, and actually managed to beat Bishra. I rolled really poorly. He rolled really well. But it was one of these moments that he basically ran forward, grabbed Bishra's leg, and swept the leg, and Bishra went boom into the ground. So that happened. So the party are now, the word is being spread of their fame. And then Bishra, sorry, God's sake, NPC block. Thrain, Lord Thrain, started to look around the rest of the party and go, oh, do I recognize any else? Who else is in your number? Do I recognize anybody else? Clocked Saria, our cleric, and was like, holy shit, Enya? Enya, turns out that Saria is, in fact, Duchess Enya Surtan. And there was a whole thing, where Thrain and Enya were childhood friends. They grew up together. And Thrain helped restore the memories basically through like a necklace that they had he had made of like some like core childhood memory they had together. Showed Saria this, all of her memories came back, and she was like, "Oh shit, I'm actually a Duchess. My name is Duchess Enya Suratan." So flood of memories, because when Saraya's player came to me, he says, "I don't have a backstory. I'm just going to pick amnesia," and I was like, "All right, the DM will give you a backstory. Here's your backstory. You are the sole surviving noble of a very high noble family." And your whole family is dead. You died in a shipwreck. You woke up in a monastery with no memory of what happened beforehand. You are now a cleric. That's everything she has done with the character is like, I'm a cleric. Everything else, that still stands, but she now has the previous 15, 20 years of her life. The whole growing up, childhood friends, everything else. Well, I have a family now. Holy shit. So there's that, which is, again, future plot points, quest lines, everything else. So that was all really fun. That was really fun. I enjoyed all that. And then Thrain went off. Basically went off to arrange a welcome wagon to bring the giants in. The party scouted, did a few other bits and pieces, asked some other questions. And that was actually at this point that Achilles went off and spoke to the guards. Bjorn went off and bought some booze to toast the giants whenever they came into town, and also to toast to Enya for her new memory. He's like, "Oh, well, you've now remembered your previous life, Duchess. Let's have a toast." And then went off, met the giants, had a discussion, and then brought them back into town. Was like, "Oh yeah, okay, the giants are going to come. They're going to stay in the town. We're going to give them food, shelter. They're going to help protect the town. They're going to help us rebuild, protect, maybe do some bits and pieces about the place." And like the big feck off party happened, kind of to welcome the giants, and also because Thrain was fucking overjoyed to see his childhood friend again. It was kind of like, "Oh my god, my friend was dead. She's alive. Big party." That type of thing. And during this big celebration feast of like welcoming the giants and everything else, the party met a couple of other key NPCs. I don't think they met Rhodey Marsh, but they were told about the Dockmaster, Rhodey Marsh, who was, go speak to him. He'll be the one who can tell you more about the fishermen. And also the Defiant, one of the reasons the party were sent here in the first place. Yes, they did pass. There was people matching the description, passed through here a while back. Rhodey is the person to speak to about that. So the Rhodey Marsh, who they have to speak to, they met 3 NPCs at the party, 3 key NPCs. There was Pavu, who's a male Goliath who owns the other tavern in town, the King's Head, formerly the Charleston Inn. He, along with Craig Brunstone, B.R. Brunstone, Pavu and Craig were 2 of the leaders of the rebellion that overthrew the Charlestons. So they met those 2. Pavu, male dwarf. Craig. Craig is the male dwarf, and Pavu is the male Goliath. During the rebellion, he lost his left arm. That's like Pavu is the Goliath with missing a left arm. Rhodey is the Dockmaster, NPC, making them distinct. And then they met one more NPC, kind of towards the end, towards the height of the party. They met another one of the benefactors of Iceborne, one of the people who's helping fund the rebuilding effort. Met a man by the name Jeremiah Doyle. Jeremiah Doyle is the owner of the Roberta Trading Company, which is a trading company that is based over in the Republic of Amboreno. It's one of the territories. Capital city is Roberta, and he operates a trading company out of there. He's the owner of it. He's very wealthy, and he's over here helping rebuild, and also is establishing expeditions to, go up north. Now, the Dungeon Master made an error initially, because I initially named that town by something else. Now, I thought the name was innocent, and, I thought the name was good. I thought it was just a random name and was a bit innocent. But it turns out that it wasn't. Anybody who knows what Rhodesia was That's what. Yeah, I called the town Rhodesia that he was from, which gave the party instant like, oh no, why is he from there? And I was like, well, what's so bad about that? Google. Ah, oh, fuck. That's why. Okay. So I made a boo boo and named one of my towns that. I've changed it to Roberta since. But yeah, I did that. I was an idiot. Yeah, that triggered some insight checks, which happened, and I've since gone back to the players and gone, okay, you're one of them rolled a nat 20. I was like, okay, the nat 20, I'll not get rid of the nat 20, but we'll tweak it. So things happened like that. But Jeremiah's a real good, southern gent. He's a real friendly fella. He's over here to help rebuild Iceborne and establishing trade routes, and hopefully get some expeditions going into the Waste, because there could be some real valuable stuff up there, I'm just a real friendly southern gent. Real charming fella. So the party have met him and a few other NPCs and everything else. So yeah. That was session 16. Session 17 is I have no idea what the party's gonna do. Because there are a few plot threads. There's a few bits and pieces, a few quests, a few plot threads they can pick up. I've no idea which one they're gonna pick up. We'll start the session off, see who's doing what, where they're going. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. And the party actually really enjoyed that as well. It was a real fun, very lore-heavy, role-playing heavy session, but they're fun. If they're done right, they're fun, and I like to think I did that one pretty good. So, that's that. I'm a happy camper. I'm a happy dungeon master with that one. And I'm going to go ahead and leave these here adventurers. So, oh, excuse me. So, everybody, have fun, stay safe. And until next time, see you. Stay safe, adventurers. Bye.